Fabrizo. And did you know that playing video games can actually make you a smart person? Well, my proposition is that playing video games improves skills that are used on a day-to-day basis. I will be first talking about how video games have been used to train and improve people's jobs. And then I will be talking about how video games improve quick thinking, making fast analytical judgments of different situations, and better decisions in life. Lastly, I will be talking about how video games improve reasoning and forces hypothesis testing. First, video games have been used for almost a decade now to train and improve people's jobs. In a study conducted in 2004 by Butch Rosser, a surgeon of laparoscopy, he studied the skills of a surgeon who played video games on a regular basis to that who did not. Surgeons who play video games who on a regular basis to that who did not, they were actually made less mistakes and were faster in operations than those who did not. The United States launched a game called the American Army, which was a game that simulated real-time war. This game was used to train new recruits and get them ready so that they would not be unprepared and avoid making careless mistakes on the field of battle. Video games such as Call of Duty and Halo also provide a chance to communicate and work as a team with other players around the world with their online systems, with headsets and stuff like that, tournaments and whatnot. This communication and teamwork helps develop the gamer's overall people skills, improving their work life significantly. Secondly, video games help to improve quick thinking, making fast analytical responses and better decisions to life. According to researchers at the University of Rochester, led by a scientist named Daphne Bavelier, games stimulating stressful events such as those found in battle or action games are a training tool for real-world situations. This study suggests that playing action video games primes the brain to make quick, accurate decisions. Another study done in 2008 by Dr. Kawashima that involved 600 students all across the schools of Scotland had students play the Nintendo DS for every day for about a month. The results showed a 50% improvement in the students who played the Nintendo DS every day than those who did not. Thirdly, video games have improved people's reasoning and also forces hypothesis testing. A professor of education named James Paul G. at the University of Wisconsin-Madison says that playing a video game is similar to working through a science problem. He said that students in a laboratory and gamers must come up with a hypothesis and test it out to see if it works. For example, players in some games constantly try out combinations of weapons and powers to use to defeat an enemy. If one does not work, they change their hypothesis and try a next one until it works. This shows that video games teach us not to give up on our problems that we run across, but instead trying it until we figure it out. So, in conclusion, I explained the different ways that video games have trained and improved people's jobs. That then told you how video games can improve quick thinking and making fast analytical decisions. And then lastly, I discussed how they improve our reasoning and hypothesis testing. So overall, people who play video games can improve many skills as needed for us to succeed in life. Thank you.
All right, you've got a qualified claim, but it's very clearly stated, and a good setup of what the secondary points are going to be. Your internal signposting is excellent. It's easy to follow. I thought on the third point you gave us an explanation, but not any proof of the claim, just an explanation about how it's supposed to work. On the first couple of points, you did provide some proof, but some of them are very hypothetical in nature. There's all this stuff about how the surgeons are supposed to do a particular way. There was one study that mentioned that. There's a vague reference to that study, and I'm not exactly sure that I want my surgeon working on me 50% faster. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're 50% more accurate, just that they're quicker. And many people will tell you quicker isn't always better. The battlefield ones, I think those are good illustrations, but once again, it suggests what ought to be the result, not necessarily that there is a measurable result. And so I think you need a little bit more information on that. On the one with the Scottish study, it sure sounds like it's impressive. There was a 50% increase, but it doesn't say a 50% increase in what. And I thought that that was a little odd, so you need a little bit more clarification on that study. Also, the sources are not really being being cited very clearly. You had one quote that you did cite very clearly. I thought that was fine. Everything else we got a vague reference to. For instance, one study about surgeons or a Scottish study. Those are not very direct citations. It's delivered, I think, very effectively. You have good audience contact, but there's some big inferences that I think need additional follow-up, especially on that third point. All right, thank you.